Good morning and welcome to Murillo. This is day 4 of my tour of Colombia in 2024. It's day 4 of 6. Today we're riding from here in Murillo down to a finca, which is like a farm stay. So it's been a real variety of accommodation, and tonight is in a very remote location. It's a dirt road to get there. We had to order our dinner yesterday, but quite looking forward to it. It's quite bright today. It's grey in the sky. I'll give you a quick look around, but yeah, it certainly feels a lot drier than yesterday. We had some very heavy rain overnight, but that's all past. One thing about Murillo is there are a lot of dogs here, and they are very friendly indeed. These were our companions for dinner last night, and they're clearly just enjoying the warmth of the morning. Right then, I'd better go inside, order my coffee and arepa and scrambled eggs, and I'll be back on the bike shortly. Right then, off we go. Day 4, say goodbye to all the dogs as we ride out of Murillo. Again, I think we're going very much against the one-way system here, but nobody seems to mind. So yeah, looking forward to getting back down into the warmth. And right from the off, coming out to Murillo, we've got this very twisty road heading out of the town, surrounded by these big trees and sort of farmland. And although we can't see it just at the moment, I'm hoping we're going to round a bend and it'll give you a glimpse of just all the cloud in the valley below. Like I say, I think we're up here at 3,000 metres, and it is just downhill all the way, I think, for the first hour and a half, down like pretty low, so apparently we're going to get really hot. So most of us have just gone back to our mesh layers, and it is definitely still a little bit chilly up here. So looking forward to, I think as every minute goes by, we drop another 20-30 metres, something like that. And here we are down in the valley, where it's actually pretty dry. It didn't really rain on the way down. Maybe there's one place where the cloud was particularly dense and it kind of felt like it was raining, but for not more than maybe 100 yards. But it was certainly enough to get rain droplets everywhere. Now we are back down in the valley. It's certainly a lot warmer. I just kept my mesh gear on, and looking at my sleeves, I can see that it's already drying out quite a lot. So after the black volcanic landscape of yesterday, only half an hour into today, and already we're back down very much amongst the rainforest, cloud forest sort of terrain, with lots of bamboo growing on the left side there. I've seen that used quite a lot in construction. Well, we've been going downhill for what seems like an hour at least, maybe more, and the temperature must have climbed 20 degrees. It's now actually feeling quite warm and sticky. I've still got my Gore-Tex gloves on. I've still got my windproof layer on underneath my mesh jacket. So I am kind of missing a bit of cooling right now. Just opened the vents in my trousers. There's some more vents I could still open. So anyway, so I think we're not far from the valley bottom now. Hopefully around one of these bends you'll get a glimpse of it. Maybe we're already too close to it. So we've come down to the bottom of the valley, like the very bottom, and we're actually below 400 metres now. So we've come down 2,400 metres in about an hour. It's just been constant twisties all the way down the mountain, which has been really fun to ride. But what also has meant is we've got the temperature gain from descending 2,600 metres even. And yeah, it's proper hot, it's proper sticky down here. So we're now back down to mesh gear, summer gloves, and all vents open, just trying to stay cool. It's been a really fun ride though, very twisty all the way down through these rainforests and these absolutely incredible trees. I don't know if you can see behind me just how big and expansive these trees are, but it really is quite an amazing place. We're now on the first fast road for about 4 days. We're only doing about 100 kilometres an hour. That's about 60 miles an hour. I know the road signs say 40, but the road sign speed limits here really do seem to be completely optional wherever you go. And it's not even frowned upon to undertake a police car that's already doing twice the speed limit if you're doing 3 times the speed limit. But the nice thing about getting this speed is that you get a lot of airflow through, which is very cooling. And actually being down here in the bottom of the valley and just seeing the mountains around us, and realise just how high up we were. Anyway, we've got half an hour's ride before the next stop, which I think will be, well, somewhere between morning coffee and lunch, but we'll see what time it is when we get there. I've just filled up with petrol and we're heading into town for our coffee break. Everything is slightly chaotic, as these places always are. Seems like we've come in down the the automotive section where they've got all the bike shops and car garages and tyre repair places and liquor stores. You know, it's good to have a balance of things. These people will let us through, they will. Yeah, it's just a matter of keeping an eye on your mirrors and looking around for random taxis that are going to pull out on you like that and trying to stay alive. So we just had a very quick stop in this town just for a cold drink really and a bit of salt to try and hydrate again. We've got a 50-minute ride to get to the lunch stop. This is, I guess, just an inevitable part of any trip when you have to do some paved roads just to get from A to B. I think we do have a short trail section before lunch, and then after that we'll be trail riding most of the way up to the Finca. I think this is sort of the trail bit. There was a road, paved road, but it looks like a lot of it fell into the river, which is over on my right. So there's clearly had a lot of rain through here, and there's places just where the tarmac has been washed out, much like here. Let's see how deep this is. We can go around the edge. Oh yeah, and then the tarmac stops again. But it helps to keep it interesting, and we're in the shade, all of which makes for a slightly more engaging ride, even if some of it is a bit dusty. As you can tell, I'm pretty warm. Just done a little trail coming out of that town. I think I recorded a little bit of it. Everyone else just stopped on a bridge to recover. It is absolutely baking hot, but it's been so much fun. I mean, there've been kind of rocks about that big, just lots of them. Some of them a bit loose, but these bikes have just been bumping up and over them. Every now and again you break a traction a little bit. We got to the bridge and for a pause thought how far people in the UK would travel to ride a trail like that, not to see anybody else on it, and then complain about the tyres, or they had the wrong sort of tyres. The tyres that are on these bikes, they're definitely not knobblies. Yeah, they're 50s is probably a bit generous, probably 80-20s. But you know what, with the power they've got and the weight of the bikes, we've just been bumping over things, and it's been huge fun. Right, I think we've got about another 20 minutes to go to lunch, and then I think I'm going to need another drink of water. So that was it. We had quite a pleasant lunch. Now leaving the town down this extremely steep hill, back down into the heat. Wasn't really a lot to say in the town itself, so I didn't bother doing a piece to camera. But it did make me think to mention that the food here is generally very good. Lunch is often, you know, some sort of corn-based product, together with grilled meat of some sort, chicken, beef, pork, readily available. It's not great for vegetarians, if I'm honest. One of our group is gluten intolerant, but he's fine with the corn, and another member of the group is lactose intolerant, which can be a bit of a problem because a lot of stuff comes with cheese. However, so far so good. We've managed to find a way through it all. So that was exciting. I've just had a run along the valley. I think more than one person mentioned wacky races, and it was a bit like that, with trucks and buses and traffic, other bikes, cows, you name it. It's been there. Got about 8 kilometres now before we get to the trail that will take us up to the Finca, and we've stopped at the side of the road for what has been described as a cold porridge drink, which looks a lot like this, and yeah, it's a bit thinner than porridge, but it's got coconut and vanilla in it. It's actually quite refreshing. Cheers. So yeah, 8 kilometres more of road in this searing heat, and then we're going to get to the trail, which is about an hour's trail ride up to the farm. So yeah, looking forward to getting there, having a nice cold beer, and being able to chill. So we've just finished our cold porridge, and we're back into the fray. Like I say, 8 kilometres of this, and then we turn off onto the trail. It does remind me a little bit of riding in Kerala in India. You know, the same sort of breakdown of small cars, trucks, buses, lots of scooters, motorcycles, people on, you know, carts, pedal carts, and even the trees and the landscape looks quite similar. You know, I've had cows grazing. I think that's a vulture that was just swooped down over there, so you didn't get as many of those in India. And even these sort of little sort of towns and sort of shops by the road are quite reminiscent of South India. So yeah, if you think where we started today, up, you know, within sight of an active volcano, descending 2,600 meters down to this baking hot, sort of humid conditions, it really has been a day of variety. But I'm looking forward to getting back on this trail to get up towards the Finca. So this is the trail up to the Finca. It's lots of kind of loose rocks and sand. It's pretty dusty. Looking at the erosion on the sides, I'm wondering if this was a river valley some time ago. But it's boiling hot. It's dusty when it's not been flooded. Scenery again has changed. It's these sort of low hills a little bit. And we've got 22 kilometres of this all the way up to the farm stay. So yeah, it's a bit like trail riding in the UK. It's just 22 kilometres of it and no gates, and it's just a public road, albeit one covered with lots and lots and lots of loose rock. Well, we're still going, and there's still a fair bit of this 22 kilometre trail up to the Finca to go. But I just wanted to share the view of it a bit with you, really. It's just now changed this really sort of really lush green pasture land. There's mostly cows around. All the beef we've had here has been really good. I think it's all like beef farms in the area. I suppose Colombian beef isn't really known in the UK, but they certainly consume a lot of it domestically. Oh, there's a big truck coming through. Yeah, and you see some of the cattle over there on the left. It has been kind of wet, as you can see from the state of this bit of the trail. Some of these ponds are pretty big, and they're just covered with slippery mud. Whoops, there we go, underneath. But these bikes are so light that they're just pretty easy just to navigate over them. I mean, we don't have mud tyres now, we don't even have knobbly tyres, so everything is being done quite carefully, but I don't think anyone's had a spill yet. So this bit right now really does feel like biking through a jungle. These massive ferns, there's so much water around, the rocks are getting slippy, the track is getting tighter, but I haven't seen the sun for a bit, so it's certainly a little bit cooler, even if it is very, very sweaty in here. But this little bike's just, well, it's just really eating it all up. Like I said, these aren't on knobbly tyres, these are on almost like road tyres, so certainly much less suited to trails than my IRCs are on my CRF 300. But actually through here, the bike's so light, it really doesn't matter. And it's just so much fun. I know I keep saying that, so I'll try and stop. But if you were here, you'd do the same. So this is the place. This is the Finca where we're staying for the night. All right, right by the river. So we've arrived at the entrance to the Finca, but for this we now have to cross the river by boat. It's been so warm, just sweating absolute cobs. And some leaf cutter ants down by my feet. So yeah, we're going to get on the guys are going to help us with the bags now to get into a boat, and we're going to go across that really quite fast flowing river you can see over my shoulder. This is the boat that we're going to be crossing the river on. As you can see, it's a pretty fast flowing river. We're going to get loaded up, and then we'll get over to the Finca. See you later, guys. We're actually going pretty quick, considering that you look at the bank and we're barely moving. Feels like we're nearly there already. And here we are, coming in. Hello, dog.
Hello, dog.
Well, that is it. That is the end of day 4. It is just so hot here. That trail ride, I think, pretty much finished me off for the day. But then to take the boat across the river and come to this absolutely stunning place. I mean, it's, yeah, how do you really describe this? They said a Finca, it's like a farmhouse. It's not like any farmhouse I've ever seen. But they do have cold beer and they do have air conditioning. So both, I think, are very welcome. So I'm going to go and crack on and do that now. And get out my riding gear because it's just too hot not to. So I hope this has been interesting and useful. If it has, please check out my other content from Colombia. And if you fancy doing this and coming here and crossing a river like that, then yeah, let me know. I'm running trips next year. Thanks for watching.